Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity?
Jesus. Oh my God, dude. Okay, all right. I need to focus because I just pressed it. I just pressed the record button. We're gonna talk about. I was gonna say Summoner. Jesus Christ. We're gonna talk about Dragon's Dogma 2. I'm a little late on this review. I'm a little late. That's because I was playing this. I was playing Stellar Blade, the uncut version. Okay, I was playing this. So, I played Dragon's Dogma 2 before Stellar Blade released. I loved it. I may be one of the only ones that will say that. I thought the game was great, but then Stellar Blade came out and I was just playing that and I was just, oh my God, Jesus Christ, man. That game is so fucking disappointing. But anyway, I I had to get my mind back on track. So we're going to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a 2024 action role-playing Dungeons & Dragons game that has been created, produced, and published by Capcom Entertainment. After hunting a dragon and facing your ultimate defeat, you claim vengeance by searching for answers in the lands of Vermont and Batiel, where you are known as the Arisen, a geopolitical conflict by completing quests and gaining new journeys on the way with the aid of allies known as pawns. Every time I review an RPG game, I have got to tell y'all about the roots where I came from when it comes to me starting in RPGs. And it's Summoner. Ever since I have played Summoner, I have been on a verge of just trying to find games like Summoner. Like Baldur's Gate, Diablo, and eventually, a long while ago, I played Dragon's Dogma, the first one, and I loved it. I loved it, but to be fair, I didn't know nothing about Summoner when I was playing the first Dragon's Dogma. But when I ended up playing the first one again recently before the second one was released, it still gave me that good nostalgic age of just going through dungeons and just killing dragons and stuff like that. And I really felt that whole good vibe of just playing these type of games. I don't know about you guys, but I like playing games like this by myself. It's fun to play games like this with friends, especially when you're playing games like Champions in the Wrath and etc. But you really do feel that full impact of enjoyment when you play games by yourself, especially when you're not relying on people to do shit correctly. I learned that the hard way by playing Helldivers 2. But by me playing Dragon's Dogma 2, it still brought a lot of good light to me. I still loved it. I loved the game from start to finish. It had some problems, of course. It's not a perfect game, but it's an acceptably good RPG Dungeons and Dragons game. Now, by me saying this game ain't perfect, I can agree that this game, even though I've enjoyed it, it left me and a lot of good fans with a lot of bad interest and above all, with a bad taste in our mouth. The game picks off at a very fair pace. Now, about the story, as I mentioned in the headline, the story is pretty far-fetched, kind of pretty relatable to the first one in my opinion. But the major strength of the game is you creating your character and just going along with your journey. So how does that work well here? It works well pretty fine. And what I like about the game's mechanics when it comes to creativity is that they put more elements of what you can create with your character with. Now, this is where people had some problems with. Some people thought that you creating a bestian character was great, but they wanted to create more types of characters too when it comes to lizards, when it comes to dragon, bestian characters like how they did with Baldur's Gate 3. But I kind of felt like it was fine in my opinion. I made a bestian female character that was a thief. And above all, you can create a pawn too. And I thought that was beyond my expectation. I was like, holy fuck, you can create a side character. And just like Baldur's Gate 3, they actually guide you of what you can do when it comes to you doing the right choice or making the wrong choice. But unlike Baldur's Gate 3, your side character literally goes along the journey with you. And this is no spring chicken side character. This side character kicks ass. This side character gives you advice. And above all, you can switch their attitude up to make them a bitchy character or a good character or somehow an annoying character. I made them a kind-hearted character. And that's very important because even if you play this game by yourself, your side characters, which is called pawns, can be used for other online players to use in their journeys as well, especially if you're using side characters that are, mages or archers. And my side character is an archer named Critic, and a lot of players has used this character and they have given me a lot of good feedback on my character, which I thought that was fucking amazing, how you could provide positive feedback by giving them hearts or thumbs up to your character if they have progressed through the whole mission and the quest with your main character without no type of repercussions whatsoever. So by the story not pulling you in that much, it's kind of lackluster, so you don't really get pulled in by the story. The only way you get pulled in by the story, again, is when you go through the progression of the characters that is along the whole story with you, and just going through these obstacles and just going through the whole land itself to see what this whole game has to offer. And that's the major strength of the game, is you just going through certain areas, exploring, getting certain loot, and above all, just trying to make sure that you don't go in the wrong place at the wrong fucking time. And that happens a lot here. But with typical RPG games like this that is open world, I'd rather it be like this. I don't want games that is an RPG open world and they lock it off if you're under leveled. Dragon's Dogma 2 don't do that shit. If you're gonna go to an area and the motherfucker is one-shotting you, you're gonna fucking pay for it, especially when you go to those dungeons that is underground. And this is one thing I kind of did not like, is the exploration when it comes to you playing with NPCs. You can play with friends here, but I played this whole game by myself. I completed this whole game by myself. So by me playing by myself and by playing with other NPCs, the NPCs are fluid, they get the job done. There were times where I didn't have to do a fucking thing and they would just run and they would just kill these enemies. And there were times where they would help me go through the story if I was lost, if there was no indicator on the map. But this is what I didn't like. I did not like how they was roaming around the area and not being aware of the hazards. And what I mean by that is, by this game having a lot of land, a lot of water, you guessed it, you can die if you jump underwater. You can't fucking swim. And what bothers me the most is the fact that not only that these NPCs will often fall in the water and die, these NPCs are not free. You have to pay, not money, but you have to pay progression points to get these NPCs on your squad. The more skilled and the more badass they are, the more expensive they are. And nothing bothers me the most when you spend over 1,000 fucking points buying an NPC and they fucking enemies up, and then all of a sudden the dragon just backtails the fucking NPC to the water and they just fucking die. You're gonna go through shit like this playing Dragon's Dogma 2. So I would recommend you people playing this game during the day, not during the day in the weather, but I'm talking about during the day in the game's weather. Playing this game at night, you do have a lantern, but it's a big risk. Play the game during the day so you can make sure you know where the fuck you're going. Play it at night if there's a mission that you have to do during the night, or if there's materials that you have to collect that only night creatures have in their possession. Other than that, you're screwed if you play during the night. The major strength of this whole game is the comfortness of you playing an RPG. And what I like about that is the fact that when you go through these certain areas and you just travel and you just go through these certain waves of these dungeons and stuff and collecting loot, what really fills me in is just the atmospheric waves of you just listening to the atmosphere. And that's literally the lacking part of the game, is the fact that the music is not that great. The music is not that good in Dragon's Dogma 2, in my opinion. So for people who love RPG games and they love good music and they're a little bit floundered of the music in Dragon's Dogma 2, I will give y'all a good list, especially if you like alternative and jazz music. I would recommend you guys listen to Jazzanova and listen to King Cruel the Ooze, especially when it comes to Jazzanova. If you're going to listen to Jazzanova, please listen to the album called Coming Home by Jazzanova. That is a good album to play when you play Dragon's Dogma 2, especially if you're playing it late at night when you're on your way to sleep. You guys will thank me later. You will really get hooked into the gameplay mechanics. And speaking of gameplay, this is one thing I got a problem too with the game, is the fact that the game is not fucking 60 frames per second. All these updates, all these patches, all these fixes, and still no 60 frames per second. My video is fucking 60 frames per second. Why the fuck this game isn't? And people has been railing on this game not being 60 frames per second, but y'all more focused on the microtransactions. I think that's a fair criticism that you can use, because even people were saying that you don't gotta buy the microtransactions, but the fact that it's there and you did not make this game 60 frames per second is a fucking travesty. Call it a pet peeve issue, but all I'm saying is this. You want the game to be full price? Give us a full functioning game. You can't do that? Then expect us to talk shit about it. It's just as simple as that. Overall, this game is good. I enjoyed it. I love it. But with the issues that I mentioned, it's not a perfect game. And as much as I talk about Summoner and Summoner 2, if y'all look at my reviews on those games, I love them, but even I didn't give them perfect ratings. So it comes down to this. Will I recommend you play Dragon's Dogma 2? Yeah, of course. I would highly recommend you play Dragon's Dogma 2. But when it comes down to the comparison ratio, what would you rather play, Dragon's Dogma 2 or Summoner 2? You motherfuckers better play Summoner 2. So y'all can see where the love of RPG in my heart came from. I'm gonna have to give Dragon's Dogma 2. That's interesting. What should I give Dragon's Dogma 2? It's not an A. Hell fucking no. It's not a B. That's too high of a fucking B. Too fucking high. Ooh, this is tough. Fucking tough. You know what? The game is playable and it's enjoyable. I'm gonna have to give it a C+. Above average. Above average. It's smart. Yeah, I think that's good. I think I don't think I've used the bell on my last review. No, I have not. Hopefully, holy shit. No, I'm good on this review. I'm talking about my other one, my Criminal Girls review. I don't think I needed the bell. Now I'm thinking about it, I think I'm straight. But anyway, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.